If I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster.
You're listening to the Breadwinner Energy Podcast with your host, Tay Daniels. Tay started her business 10 years ago with $100, wrecked credit at 7 months pregnant. Today, she scaled 2 multi-six-figure businesses and runs a global empire helping Black sheep women turn their ashes into intellectual property and their wounds into wealth. Tune in every week for raw, unedited episodes on becoming a wealthy woman, thought leader, and empire builder. Learn how lived experience becomes power, purpose, and your wealth empire. Welcome to Breadwinner Energy. Let's fucking go.
Welcome back to another episode of the Breadwinner Energy Podcast. Today we're talking about being a CEO. Going from being a wounded warrior to a CEO, an empire builder, a global brand. Okay, so you're not being paid to survive anymore. You're actually being paid to lead a movement, to lead a brand, to lead yourself, and to lead others. And there is a difference between the wounded warrior who shares her wounds and people follow and being an empire builder CEO. Okay, so this is going to be how you truly step into more money, more ease, more flow, more peace, more expansion. I have the Empire Room Mastermind, which applications are going to open enrollment's going to open in April. The waitlist is open, so you can get on the waitlist for that enrollment. If you're already through death and rebirth and you've already turned your ashes to intellectual property and you're like, I have a methodology, but I'm stuck in the one-to-one work. I have a methodology and it works, but I'm not able to get time and freedom. And I'm stuck between I need to build systems, but I also need to get clients and money. And I want to scale this empire because I have the brand. I know what I'm here to do, but I don't know how to scale it. Then you're ready for the Empire Room Mastermind. And so get on the wait list. Enrollment will open in April. It's a $10,000 investment for the year. We do have payment plan. It's application only. So you'll get on the wait list, you'll get additional information. And then when we open applications, you will get access first to apply, first to put down your deposit and secure your spot. If we think that you're not ready and you're not a fit, we release your deposit back to you and suggest that you start with the academy. But this is the really good indicator. You've gone through death and rebirth. You've turned your ashes into intellectual property. You have a methodology and you've already made money. You've already gone out and signed clients and you want to scale this empire. You are self-led. You've done a lot of internal work. You've done a lot of inside work. You are not in victim mode. You are like, I'm a boss ass bitch. I want a business with standards. I want a business with boundaries, and I want a business with a fuck ton of money that makes global impact, changes lives, and I have freedom and peace. And if that's you, you should be in the Empire Room Mastermind. There will be an option on your application to upgrade to Inner Empire Room. So you can either do Empire Room, the Mastermind, 12 months, or Inner Empire, which is Mastermind plus one-to-one coaching. It's a $20,000 investment. After this enrollment period, we are going to up the price on that container. So it will be more money for the mastermind and more money for the Inner Empire Room Mastermind plus one-to-one. So if you're considering, I would get yourself ready right now to be in that room in April. If you're like, I don't know, maybe I need to go through Academy first, get into Academy now. You have 4 months. And then when you move into Mastermind, you'll get both containers for the one price. So when you upgrade from Academy to Mastermind, we'll cut off your Academy payment. You'll just pay for Mastermind. You'll have both containers, but it will give you 4 months to make sure that your intellectual property and your identity work is locked in. Okay. So, in this room though, what we talk about in this room is business building, is systems, is structure, and being a true CEO, right? Like really embodying being an empire woman. And so you can't be in that room if you're still in wounded warrior energy. And that's literally the point. I built the 2 rooms so that if you're a wounded warrior who's like, I've been wounded, I'm a wounded healer, I have so much to give and stories to share and things that I've been through that I want to share with other people, but I don't know how to package it and I don't know how to turn what I've been through into a viable business model. That's why you start with Academy. Or you're like, I think I do, but I'm still in this scarcity, poverty mindset, lack of abundance, like, right? A lot of that inner identity work, you start with Academy. Then once you go through that process, you're a totally different version of yourself. You're totally unleashed in your energy and your identity, and you're ready to scale that empire. You come to the empire room. Okay. So Breadwinner Energy Academy is open now. Link is below. Get on the wait list for Mastermind if you believe that's for you. Apply when applications are open. Okay, so today we're going to talk about wounded warrior identity, what it is, and why and how it's keeping you stuck. Okay, the wounded warrior is the coach or the healer who has built her brand on the survival story, but she's still in survival. Okay, so this is not the version of you that's like, I've been through X, Y, and Z, and I've turned it into X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to help you turn it into X, Y, and Z. That is different than the version of you that's like, I'm broke, I'm abused, I'm lost. Let's connect. Let's have a room together where we can like share with each other because we're both going through it. That is wounded warrior. I'm still healing. Let's heal together. I'm still figuring it out. Let's figure it out together. I'm just like you. I'm just one step ahead. That is still wounded warrior. Okay. And no shame to wounded warrior because we all go through this process, right? We all go through the process, which is why I literally built the business the way I have. And that was me too. But you don't build an empire from wounded warrior energy, right? You don't build that when you're still in the identity of being wounded versus I was wounded and now I've turned it into intellectual property. Okay? And here's the thing about being a wounded warrior. You most of the time don't charge premium prices. You don't attract premium clients. You attract clients that want to still stay in their wounds because so are you, right? So that's being mirrored back to you. And then you can't scale because that would require high volume if you're not pricing correctly, number one, high touch because you think that you need to hold their hands 24/7, high emotional labor because you're constantly being like, let me fix you, let me fix you, let me fix you. I'm not even fixing myself, but I'm going to fix you and I'm going to hold your hand and we're going to be in this together. High emotional labor, high touch, high volume. You can't scale that, right? So you're depleted. Now you're building a business or trying to build a business from being fully depleted, staying small, staying accessible, staying relatable, and then staying broke, right? This was me in my earlier years of business. Even like before like 2024 when I burned this down, I was in this energy of wounded warrior, martyr, holding your hand, big sister, let's be through it together, blah blah blah, versus like the CEO identity. The empire builder, this is what we're doing, this is what I expect, these are the standards, these are the boundaries and they need to be followed. And what happens when you go from wounded healer into embodied CEO? People don't like it. People don't like it. People will leave. You will have clients that are like, I don't like that. I can't believe you did that. Why did you change that? I don't think this is the right space for me anymore. Because you're expecting them to also hold a standard that they're not ready to hold. So I just want you to know is when you build your business from wounded healer energy first, which I don't suggest, right? Like going through Academy is not so that you can be a wounded healer. It's that you probably already are and you need to shed out that identity. And then you need to turn your ashes to intellectual property while shedding that identity so that you can become the identity of being unleashed before you enter the empire room. So if you're still doing the martyr, hand holder, big sister, everybody wins, lack of boundaries, lack of standards, that's an issue that needs cleaned up in Academy first, okay? But the point is that in Academy, I'm sorry, not in Academy, going back to Wounded Warrior is a lot of people start out this way. A lot of healers start out this way. And there's not shame here, right? It's more of like a cleanup because if you go through this process and let's say you have, I don't know, 10 clients, okay? And you're still in wounded healer energy with 10 clients. You can't scale, you're burnt out, high emotional labor, low pricing, right? And you're thinking eventually this will grow, eventually this will scale. It won't, but that's your thought. Like, if I just do enough, do more, put in more time, eventually this will grow because people will see how like loving and caring and hand-holding I am with every single client. It does not work that way. It is emotionally taxing and it will crumble at some point because that's not the foundation you can build on. So let's say you have 10 clients and you decide I can't do this anymore. I'm going to be the woman who holds a standard, builds the empire, and I'm going to invite women to meet me where I'm at, and I'm not going to bend down to help pick them up from the ashes. I'm going to pick myself up from the ashes, lead as a thought leader, lead by example, and call in the women who I also believe should be doing that as well and match that back and hold the boundaries and the standards of the container. And if you don't do that, you're cut off. Okay. What happens is there will be this dip of clients that leave because they don't want to match you in your new empire energy. So, what I see happen is a lot of women will burn down their business and then run right back to that model, that energy, because that was what was quote unquote safe because you're trying to control that because that was what worked for you to sign clients before, not high level clients, not clients that get results, not clients that pay premium pricing, but it did get clients. So it was comfortable because you were in control in that moment, right? Versus doing that from day one. So what I'm going to tell you is if you're going to be changing, if you're going to be changing from wounded healer into empire status, into unleashed, expect a drop off of clients, expect a drop off from your community and your audience because you're no longer accepting wounded victims that are in your world, which is great because that means you are clearing space to call in this next woman. But until you become unleashed and start operating as a CEO empire woman, that doesn't happen. And you keep calling in people who are also martyrs, also broke, also broken, and don't want to do it. They want you to do it, and then they blame you when you don't do it. That's fucking exhausting. You cannot build an empire from that energy. So you have to change your energy. Okay? So here's the difference. The leader, the thought leader, has completed her transformation. She's not performing it. She's embodied in it. I think about one of the women in my, actually like all of the women in the Empire Room right now. God, I love them. I actually think I have two of them specifically though, who have been through the fucking shards of life, like shards of life, right? And instead of being like, I was an addict and like really victiming this addict mentality or this like wounded mentality, they're like holding the fucking standard of like, this is what I expect, no payment plans, no this, no this, no this. Here's what I'm building. And it's been so cool to like be this version of myself, call in those women, watch them do it. One of them is like booked out 1-to-1, raised her pricing 2 times since we've been together. We've been together like 3 months. She has a wait list of clients waiting for her. She's launching a signature offer and it's like planning her 500K year. It's like, holy, like that is the fucking empire. That's the room, right? She leads from mastery. She's not leading of like relatability and we're both like in it together, girl. She's leading from mastery. This is what I did. I walked through the shards of my fucking life and this is what I've learned and this is what I've mastered and I'm going to teach you to do that too. She uses her story as proof for other women. She doesn't bond with her clients with codependency over wounds. She charges premium pricing and she's like her content, her messaging is like I've mastered this process. Here's my process, here's my framework. No, I don't do free consultation calls. I value my time. I've walked through this fire 1,000 times. Here's the map. I didn't just survive this. Like I extracted the lessons. I turned it into intellectual property. I'm not a few steps ahead. I've been doing this work for years. I'm not a few steps ahead. I have mastered this work over and over and over again. Okay. Wounded warrior is here's what I've been through and I'm still in it and I'm still experiencing it and every day's so hard. CEO leader, embodied leader, unleashed is I've mastered this. Walk through it if you're brave. That's the difference. That is the difference. Okay. When you lead from mastery, when you have extracted your intellectual property and methodology that you know like the back of your hand because you literally walked through it, content is easier. Selling is easier. Writing emails and podcasting is easier. You charge premium pricing. You attract the right fit clients that you absolutely love to work with who are not codependent on you. Your clients are not draining. You can actually scale because not only do you have premium pricing, not only are you calling in women with your content, you have a clear methodology you walk people through, and you're leading and holding space for time off and time away. You literally build from overflow. You've extracted the lessons, you teach the framework, you get results, you're in overflow. You're not depleted. You become unleashed. You're not. You're not doing playing small to be relatable and undercharging because of guilt and performing struggle to prove that you get it and we're connecting and we're relatable. God, I look back at that version of myself and I'm like, God, she was insufferable. Like I love her. She didn't know any better and she got me here and I love her for that, right? Like no shame, girl. But also like a low-key insufferable. So what has to die? Number one, I'm going to go back to exactly what I talked about in the last two episodes. Stop trying to be fucking relatable. Stop trying to be relatable. People won't connect with me if I'm too successful. Okay, well, I don't know about you, but I only want to call in people who want to be successful. So I don't want those people in my space anyway, right? Replace it with authority. Be in your authority. You're not performing struggle. You're like, I've been through struggle. Here's what I did. Here's how I got out of it. I turned my wounds into wealth. Now it's your turn, girl. Okay? Stop leading with your wounds. Stop leading with your wounds. Stop bonding, codependency, trauma bonding with clients, and being like, we're so broken. Let's be broken together and let's be miserable and insufferable together. Stop doing it. Lead with extraction. Extract the lessons, extract the framework, extract the methodology. Number two, drop the guilt around premium pricing. Yes, you're a spiritual entrepreneur. Yes, the spiritual community will shame you. Who fucking cares? You're going to get shamed regardless because you're a woman in business who's spiritual. You're going to be shamed regardless because you're a woman who maybe doesn't have a degree. You're going to be shamed regardless because no matter what you do, someone's always fucking bitching. So, premium pricing, charge what you know you should be charging that feels good and powerful and expansive because you're charging for mastery. Okay? Number four, the identity of the survivor. Let her go. You were a survivor. Now you're an embodied thought leader who makes money. You're a fucking empire builder. Okay? You're like, I made it through survival and then I extracted the lessons and I built a framework and now I lead an empire. So instead of survivor, you're a thought leader. Change that. Number five, stop needing outside validation to feel worthy. Stop needing client validation to feel worthy. Well, so and so wrote me a message and she doesn't want to be in my container anymore and she doesn't like it here and that must mean I did something wrong. No, what that means is you held a boundary, you held a standard, she felt uncomfortable, she left, not your problem. There are places where it could be your problem. I'm not going to get into that today, but stop relying on if this doesn't sell in day one, I'm not worthy. I need client validation. I need to be validated that this is good enough in order for me to talk about it and launch it and blah, blah, blah. No. Replace needing validation with embodied mastery. I've walked through this. This is what I've learned. I turn it into intellectual property. I have a methodology. Here's what I teach. And then stick with it and don't change it. Stick with it. Okay? So, in this episode, I want you to take all of this as yes, maybe it stings a little. Maybe you're still in Wounded Warrior. Maybe you are like, fuck, this is me, even though I don't want this to be me. And I really want to be an empire builder, a CEO. I want to charge premium pricing. I want to be in overflow. I want the empire with the dreamy clients who get fucking results. You must do this switch from Wounded Warrior to CEO embodied thought leader and becoming unleashed. And we're going to do that inside Breadwinner Energy Academy. Not applications. Enrollment is open. Join right now. You can start what will happen is you'll go to the sales page and there will be a little button that you can push to join immediately. And you're going to push that button and then you're going to go to checkout and you're going to pay. You can either do pay in full, $2,222, or 12 payments of 222. Okay. Once you pay that, you're going to immediately get your contract. You're going to sign it. You'll get instant access into your portal where you can start binging trainings, watching all of the live calls, live replays, guest experts. And then you're going to come to your 2 monthly 90-minute sessions with me where I not only teach live, but I also do live Q&A. So you raise your hand, I bring you in, I ask you what you want me to coach you on, you tell me, and I coach you. And we go around the room and do that. You can watch your peers be coached, you can be coached. Plus, we have monthly guest experts, plus the portal of all replays, portal of trainings to walk you through death and rebirth for mastery and money. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will chat with you on the next
Go.
episode.
Something out of my nose.